Hi, I'm Joe Sarnicola for Telco Depot, and today we're going to show you how to connect an IP system to your network. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to connect an IP phone to your existing network. So here we have an Allworx IP phone, and whether it's an Allworx or any other brand, it's all going to be exactly the same. Now typically in an office environment, you have an Ethernet jack in the wall, and there's going to be an Ethernet cable that is going from the jack in the wall to your PC. And I put the desktop here on top of the desk, this way you could see it, and that Ethernet jack, that Ethernet cable that was plugged into the jack is now going to our PC. And this is so that your computer can receive internet. Now, since the IP phone needs to connect to your network, and I just want to emphasize your network because an IP system doesn't need to connect to your internet, it's your network that we're connecting to. So what we'll do is we're going to unplug this Ethernet cable from our computer. And what I want to show you, if we can zoom in here, is on the back of an IP phone, and again, it doesn't matter what brand it is, there's going to be a jack for your network and a jack for the computer. So now we need this phone to go back to our network. So what we're going to do is take this Ethernet cable that's plugged into the jack in the wall, and we're going to plug it into the port labeled network. Okay, so now the phone is plugged into the network, but we need to get the computer back to the network as well so the computer could receive internet. Now typically an IP phone is going to come with a 7-foot Ethernet cable. And here I have a black Ethernet cable, and it's just going to plug into the port for the computer, and it's labeled computer. And it's going to plug right into our PC here, where the original Ethernet cable was, plugged into. And as soon as we do that, the phone is going to start to boot up. And now your IP phone are connected to your network, and your computer is plugged into your network as well. And so now your computer can receive internet, your phone is connected to your network, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I've showed you how to connect a standard IP phone to your network. Now, when you have a phone system, whether it's an IP system or a traditional style key system, you have a server box. And this server box is the whole control unit for the phone system. Now, the first thing we need to do is connect our phone lines to the server box that we have dial tone. Now, your phone lines can be coming from any number of places. We're going to put a few pictures up to just show you something that may look familiar to your setup. And you could call us if you need some help with that. But for now, what we have here is just a very generic setup as to what you would find in a typical office environment. So here we have a modem. This would be back in your room, your telephone closet, or wherever you have your network devices. We have a modem, we have a router, and we have an Ethernet switch here. Now, in your environment, if you have an Ethernet switch, you probably see a lot of Ethernet cables coming out of it, but just to make things clean and neat, we have everything unplugged. And now, what we have here, since a lot of people are getting their phone service from a cable provider, typically your cable provider gives you a box. So we're using this here gateway to simulate the box that your cable provider would give you. And from the box that they give you, there's going to be line outputs for your phone lines. And what you would do is on the back of the server box, this particular server box has 6 phone line inputs. So we're going to take our first phone line, plug it into the port labeled line 1, and our second phone line is going to come again from this box that you'd get from your cable company. And it's going to plug into the line 2 port. So now our Allworx server box now has dial tone. So that's how you get your phone service to your phone system. But now, since this is an IP-based system, it needs to connect to your network. Now, as I said before, an IP system does not need to connect to your internet. So we're going to disregard the modem here. The modem here is only just to show you what you would typically find in your environment. And your modem is typically connected to your router. For companies that have a lot of computers, a router is not going to have enough ports on it. That's why you'd have an Ethernet switch. So what we would need to do is take an Ethernet cable, and it's a good thing that I happen to keep an Ethernet cable in my pocket at all times. And this here Ethernet cable, if we can zoom in here, I just want to show you, there's going to be a LAN and a WAN port on the back of some IP systems, okay? And we're going to do a video specifically on IP systems, but typically you're going to plug it into your LAN port. And again, you could call us if you need help with this. So I'm going to take this Ethernet cable that just goes from the LAN port. At least I didn't drop it this time. And now I just want to make it clear that you could, since this system has to go to your network, okay, it can either plug into your router or your Ethernet switch. Either one, it just has to get back to your network. So I'll plug it into my Ethernet switch here. Okay, and again, I just want to show you, we could have also have plugged it into the back of our router. It would have made no difference. Okay. And now our Allworx server box is connected to our network. I showed you how to connect the phone to your network, and you're up and running.